Hi everyone, I'm Kelly Palmatier, a psychic medium who's channeling white light towards a better world. If you've seen the first 3 episodes of the Channeling White Light show, you might be expecting a predictable format for today's show. Well, guess what? Today, I'm gonna mix things up.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep you on your toes.
All right.
Are you ready? Let's get cracking. Welcome to the news and commentary segment of the show. I have one exciting piece of news to share with you. After 8 months of doing only remote psychic and mediumship readings by phone, FaceTime, Skype, and Zoom, I'm finally adding back the additional option of in-person sessions again. I've moved into a new office in the heart of historic West Asheville, so I can implement all the necessary COVID safety precautions, including a 6-foot table between my client and me, a large plexiglass guard above the table, virus-killing UV light, HEPA air filtration, and more. You can read more about the safety measures and book appointments directly on my website at channelingwhitelight.com. By the way, I also have gift certificates for sale there. Now it's time for commentary. Or is it? Surprise! I'm not doing the regular commentary today because this is a 2020 holiday special, also known as How to End 2020 with an Extra Dose of Stress. Okay. I wouldn't do that to you. Instead, this is a special episode that includes 4 concepts for reducing and managing stress. Whether it's holiday stress, anxiety, depression, or other situations, I hope this episode will help you enjoy your day and the holiday season with more relaxation and happiness. Are you ready to learn a few tips? I hope so, because I'm ready to teach them. Okay, I'm going to cover 4 main concepts regarding stress, and I'll include 37 specific tips. Concept 1, take action to reduce stress. Let's start with the basic definition that stress is our mental and physical response to when we're faced with demands that we feel are greater than the resources and abilities we have available to handle them. With that understanding, it's clear that the first 2 things we can do to reduce or remove stress are to either 1, remove some of the demands placed on us, or 2, increase our abilities or resources to deal with the situation. An example would be if we're feeling financial stress, we can 1, cut some of our expenses to reduce the demands of payment we're experiencing. Then, of course, the second obvious solution is we can 2, try to get more income, increasing our ability to pay our bills. These solutions are pretty obvious, but sometimes we just get wrapped up in our regular routines and our daily stress-filled lives, and we don't make a point to really examine the triggers for our stress and what solutions we can come up with. The problem is that chronic stress, day in and day out, can affect our physical health, manifesting as all sorts of illnesses, and it can manifest as mental health challenges, essentially making it more and more difficult for us to handle the demands we experience every day. Let's look at another example of tips 1 and 2. If we're feeling stressed because we're always running late or feeling stressed for time, we can 1, reduce the demands on our time. This might mean moving closer to work to reduce the commute, or saying no to added commitments that take up our time. We can also 2, increase our ability to handle these demands by changing to a quicker hairstyle or getting clothing and everything ready the night before. When it comes to the holidays, here are a few specific tips. Budget. Watch the budget. Remember the Who's down in Whoville? We don't need expensive gifts to make it a festive, enjoyable event. Communicate. Communicate with others if there's a change in budget. There's no need to let perceived expectations of others put pressure on us. Be thoughtful. Do something thoughtful instead of expensive. Experience. Focus on experiences rather than things. Prioritize. Instead of feeling overwhelmed with a long to-do list, Pick and choose what's most important to you. And make sure you include a healthy dose of quality time with loved ones. Of course, at various stages in our lives, we're going to be faced with stress that we don't have control to reduce or eliminate. That brings us to concept 2, develop healthy habits. When we develop healthy habits, it builds a strong foundation for dealing with the stress we experience. Here are tips for developing healthy habits that help with stress. Exercise. I know. Who wants to be told to exercise, right? But this tip has to be on the list because it's not just that exercise helps increase our overall health and physical well-being, but it also increases the endorphins in our brains. And those feel-good neurotransmitters really give us a good foundation for dealing with whatever comes our way. Meditation. No, you don't have to spend hours a day on a mountaintop like a yogi. Deep breathing increases the supply of oxygen to your brain and stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes a state of calmness. If you can do 20 minutes or more every morning, that's great, but you can get some benefit with just a few minutes. A regular meditation practice can build a stronger foundation of calmness for dealing with things on a regular basis. And a few deep breaths can also help calm us in a stressful moment. Healthy food. I did mention that this was the healthy habits section, right? The fact is, when we experience stress, our bodies have a physiological response. So it makes sense that having a healthy body and nourishing ourselves with fresh, organic fruits and vegetables will help give us a stronger foundation for dealing with whatever comes our way. Hobbies. Make time for music, art, or other hobbies that are relaxing. It helps to have something distracting us from our challenges and something to look forward to. Appearance. Pay attention to grooming and making an effort with appearance. When we look good, we feel better about ourselves, and that can make everything a little better. Music. Pay attention to the music that you listen to. When I was in high school, I was the biggest Pink Floyd fan of anyone I knew. But you know, as much as I still love their music, Pink Floyd's music is dark and depressing. Sometimes we get in a funk and we need music that we really resonate with. So listening to nothing but unicorns and rainbows isn't realistic. But pay attention to whether you're constantly listening to music that's depressing or music that's uplifting. Playlists. We should also talk about the power of music to change your mood. We all know that music can put you in a mood, but it's interesting to note that it can be annoying to put on a song that's in high contrast to your current mood. If you're sad or angry, putting on a happy song has the potential to really grate on your nerves. However, an easy trick to get around this is to make a playlist of songs that are sad or angry at the beginning of the playlist, and then add songs that are just a little bit happier or calmer, more neutral, until you finally end the playlist with songs that are fun and uplifting. Just be sure not to have the playlist set to automatically repeat. You don't want that tragic song in the beginning to accidentally start over again. Shows. Pay attention to the shows you watch. I love a good murder show, but all murder all the time might be a bit much. Games. Pay attention to the games that you play. If your entertainment includes having zombies chase you, keep in mind that you might want to balance that with something that's a tad more relaxing. Books. Just as with other entertainment, be sure to consider whether your books are supporting your relaxation efforts or not. And on that note, a stress reduction tip in and of itself is to ensure you're always in the middle of a good book. Having something to look forward to throughout the day is great. News. Lately, I've noticed I'm a bit of a news junkie. While I recommend staying informed from a variety of trustworthy sources, it's good to note that it can be stressful when we're constantly immersed in the drama that makes headlines. Try to remember to find that right balance. Vices. Cheers. We all know many people use vices as a mood booster, and I'm not one to say you should never have a little vice. But if you're always drinking, smoking, using drugs, or consuming caffeine, you risk being in a vicious cycle of needing unhealthy crutches just to get by. Dance. A great tip is to put on some fun, upbeat music and dance all around. Don't worry about how you look. You can draw the curtains if you don't want your neighbors to see your eclectic ways. But this is a great tip because it combines the healing power of music with the endorphins of physical movement. Action. Tackle what bothers you the most. I already covered the segment about reducing or eliminating stress, but on a similar note, I recommend you take at least one little step towards the tasks that are hanging over your head the most. Whether it's cleaning out the garage, processing a stack of mail, or filing your taxes, it's such a weight off your shoulders when you take action instead of procrastinating. Organization. If you can't find your keys or your wallet, that's pretty stressful. If you have to pay a late fee on a bill because you overlooked when it was due, that's stressful. Make a point to get your basic household systems organized. It may require some work up front, but it makes life better in the long run. Lists. On a similar note, I want to point out the value in writing things down, especially if you think of problems or to-do items at night when you should be winding down. Instead of using the mental energy to keep juggling all the things you need to remember, just jot it down and refer to it when you're ready to devote a fresh mind and your full attention to it. Sleep. You didn't think we'd get through an entire segment on healthy habits and not talk about sleep, right? Establish good sleeping patterns. Your body and your stressed out mind will thank you. Gratitude. Practice gratitude regularly. This is so powerful. I go into detail about gratitude in episode 3 of the Channeling White Light show, so if you haven't seen that episode, you might want to check it out. Altruism. Make it a regular practice to help others. It will lift your spirits in the process. In fact, researchers have found that helping others can promote physiological changes in the brain linked with happiness. It can also improve our support networks, encourage us to be more active, and improve our self-esteem. White light. The last tip in this section is to surround yourself with white light every day. Whenever I meditate or prepare for mediumship work, I use a little affirmation that I wrote. Feel free to use my words or write your own. I say, I surround myself in divine white light, encompassing universal love, joy, healing, and protection. I freely radiate universal love to others while allowing myself to be affected only by positive thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Help. It is a sign of intelligent awareness when you realize you need help, and a sign of strength when you're willing to seek it out. The tips that I'm giving here today may not always be enough, so don't be shy about seeking out professional services when warranted. Concept 3, dealing with stress in the moment. Now that we've got our tools in place for reducing stress and building healthy habits, the third concept I want to talk about is dealing with stress in the moment you experience it. Reframe. The first tip is to reframe the situation. I recently went through a very intense and stressful situation. I'd had something come up that I'd been very excited about, and it fell through in a big way that included disappointment, financial loss, and some unnecessary drama from others. It was so stressful, it had me sick to my stomach. One thing that was helpful to me was to reframe the situation. Look at it in a different way. I believe we all have angels and spirit guides watching over us, and I believe everything happens for a reason. So in this case, I reframed the challenge in my mind that by having this situation fall through, I could possibly be being protected from a COVID infection or other negative potential that might have happened had I stayed on that path. I told myself that the new path I'd been forced to change to would result in greater blessings than what was obvious at the moment. In the Stuff I Love segment of episode 1 of the Channeling White Light Show, I talk about the book You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. In that book, she says to use the phrase, "This is good because." Take anything that annoys you and reframe it with this phrase. Need to cut back on the grocery budget? This is good because we can be creative with planning our meals better. Your company moved to an office that's farther from your home? This is good because you can learn new skills with the audiobooks you can listen to on your commute. You dealt with a crazy, stressful situation that made you sick to your stomach? This is good because it can be inspiration for creating an entire YouTube episode all about stress. By the way, I'll add the affiliate link to that book in the video description. Get moving. You've probably heard how the body reacts to stress with the classic fight or flight response. This was great when we dealt with physical threats like a wild animal approaching, where your body needs to be ready to run from the animal or fight off an attack. But if your boss reprimands you for being late, running from the building or punching him in the face probably aren't ideal reactions these days. That leaves us internalizing the stress response instead of letting it out. For this reason, the next time you experience something that's stressful, try some physical action as a release mechanism. Climb a few flights of stairs or go for a walk. Clean. Cleaning is an excellent thing to do when you're feeling stress in that moment because it gets you moving, and it also has a positive, tangible result that you can be proud of. Plus, clutter has been shown to increase the body's cortisol, the stress hormone, so cleaning is a triple win when it comes to stress. Breathe. Breathing. It's not just for meditation. When you're experiencing a stressful moment, take 20 seconds of time and just breathe in very deeply. Pause, then blow it out. Deep breathing stimulates the body's parasympathetic nervous system, reducing stress, reducing anxiety, and helping move the body from the fight or flight mode into the rest and digest mode. Stretch! You don't want those stressed out muscles getting into knots, do you? Take a moment and stretch already. Pause. When you're in the middle of conflict, be sure to pause a moment. Unless you're truly facing a physical threat, most of the stress that we deal with in our society is not so time sensitive that you can't pause a moment to be smart about your reaction. If you've received a nasty email from someone, you may feel the desire to dash off a quick retort, but it serves you better in the long run if you step away, get moving, breathe deeply, and come back to your reply with a level head and a calm demeanor. Use white light. I described my personal white light affirmation in the Healthy Habits section, but it's also useful to invoke a little white light anytime you're faced with a stressful situation. You can say the affirmation aloud or recite it in your head. Concept 4, winding down. Every now and then, we all need time to wind down, time to refresh. Here are a few brief tips in that regard. Hugs. Physical touch is such a powerful tool. Research has shown the link between hugs and higher oxytocin levels in the brain, that feel-good brain chemical, and this is linked to lower blood pressure. When this pandemic is over, I will be giving and receiving lots of hugs. Weighted blanket. Not everyone is a hugger, and some of us are isolated. Did you know that a weighted blanket can simulate the feeling of being hugged? The weight of the blanket is like a deep pressure touch that stimulates serotonin, the relaxation hormone. Fake smiles. A recent study published in the journal Experimental Psychology said that smiling, Even a fake smile can have a positive impact on mood. We used to think that feelings caused our facial expressions exclusively, not the other way around. But researchers have found that triggering certain facial muscles by smiling can trick your brain into thinking you're happy. Laughter. You don't have to laugh at my silly jokes, but go ahead and laugh at something. Laughter stimulates your heart, lungs, and other muscles, and it increases the endorphins that are released by your brain. Nothing funny to laugh at? Just like the smile technique, I recommend you fake it till you make it. I often do a fake laugh before I start filming. Because fake laughing is so silly, it makes me laugh for real. So I have higher energy during my filming. And laughter is contagious, you know. That's why fake laugh tracks are often added to sitcoms. There's an amusing story I want to share. Many years ago, in a bar, my husband and I decided that we wanted to secretly try to get others to laugh around us by laughing ourselves. We ended up using lots of fake laughs, especially ones that were loud, obnoxious, and included howling or snorting. It worked. Ha 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 ah, woo! Pampering. Try pampering yourself with a bubble bath, a massage, a visit to someplace beautiful in nature, or maybe even getting a reading from your favorite psychic medium. All right. Okay, well, 'tis the season after all. I did see the image of an old-fashioned Santa Claus.
Yes.
So how does the old-fashioned Santa Claus make sense?
My mom used to talk to a guy overseas, and he was telling her about Father Christmas. So she used to get this old Santa Claus decorations.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So your mom used to get old-fashioned Santa decorations.
Yeah.
Aw, that's great. Good. Yeah, nice. Well, it's a perfect time for her to use that as a validation that she's with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nice. I'm seeing a calendar, so I feel like we're close to a special date. Is this like a birthday? Somebody's birthday? Okay, good. So tell me about that.
It would have been her birthday today.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
And I'm gonna cry, sorry.
No, that's good. I mean, let it out is what I mean. I'm used to people crying with me. If you're not crying, I'm not doing a good job. I'm sorry, I'm just teasing. But I'm so glad that she was able to be clear about the calendar, the special date. Good. Yeah. She's just giving you this validation so that you'll know it truly is her. Yeah. Nice. I smelled the most delicious smell. So
I love scented candles, and I very rarely buy them because the quality that I like to get is pretty expensive. And I have one going out in the kitchen. It's nutmeg and cinnamon.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's perfect. It feels like he's talking about how you have a positive outlook regardless.
I try, yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Because I'm actually seeing the image of like You know how visions of sugar plums danced in their heads?
Yeah.
Whatever that expression is.
Mhm.
I'm like seeing the little sugar plums dancing around.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
A lot of sense, yeah.
Now, why would I hear the Nutcracker?
I
Yeah.
played a part in in the Nutcracker when I was young.
Oh, wow. Nice. Now there's a dog hanging around there.
My auntie just lost a family dog. He was everybody's dog, and I was real close with him.
Oh,
No.
oh, that's so sweet. And now he's a little smaller. He's not a big dog.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. Yes, we miss him dearly.
Yeah. He just thinks that he is the prince. He's just like everybody.
That's what she called him.
Prince, huh? Ah, that's great.
That's actually his name. That's his name.
Oh,
His name is Prince Kobe Cobbs. Yes, that's his
oh
name.
wow.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
that's awesome. Good job.
Kobe. Yes. Oh my
you know the
God.
exact names and the dog's exact name. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I tell you what, though, he just totally feels like that name fits him because he's just prancing around like, it's me.
That's exactly what he used to do.
You can love on me now. I am here for my kisses.
Yes. Oh. Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thanks for watching. I hope this show was all it's cracked up to be. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. If you have suggestions or ideas for future episodes, please leave it in the comments. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe and click on the little bell for notifications. See you next time.